If you're like a lot of us today, you've become pretty disgusted with politics, the media, maybe even people. We spend a lot of time absorbing electronic media, and considering the way messages are delivered, rapid fire and hyped, your reaction is not surprising. Having access to so much information is positive in many ways, but taking it all in can actually feel stressful. I've noticed a number of people recently taking a vacation from social media. They feel like it's had negative impacts on their mental health. How do you feel about what gets on the news? Twitter, Facebook? Overwhelmed? Ready to abandon civilization? Faith in humanity lost? So much anger and hate gets slung across the mass media and internet. I keep hearing people express contempt for other people. A lot of us sound cynical, and it seems like a reaction to other people sounding cynical. You know what cynicism is? In a nutshell, it's when we come to view people as bad, greedy, untrustworthy, ruthless. It can also mean a lack of faith in society and its institutions, like government, family, or education. This kind of attitude can make people conclude that everything is hopelessly broken, beyond repair. So if we're cynical, maybe we used to care and try to make the world better, but now we just smirk, shrug, and laugh at others for caring. We accept that things will never improve. We give up. I'm going to tell you a little secret before I change topics for a while. That's what they want you to do. Who's they? Who's really in charge? If you're expecting a conspiracy theory, you've come to the wrong place. Well, for now, just keep in the back of your mind that someone might benefit from all the cynicism and bickering. It's an old tactic: divide and conquer. My message in this video is about politics, but unlike so many others, the intent is not to convert you to my politics. I'll make some critical observations about our political system, but as you'll come to see, I don't see any reason to criticize people themselves. And there's certainly no need to abandon faith in humanity, even including those who don't adhere to your political label. I'm going to make the argument that virtually all political perspectives are perfectly normal, that we need them all, and that they're a natural outcome of human nature. Before I get to the nature of human nature, let's take a moment to think about where it came from. My goal in this video series is not to turn anyone off, whether it's because I talk about biological evolution or creationism. But a lot of my points depend on the idea that there is a human nature, and that it's there for a reason. The main reason we have the natural human traits we have is they work. We feel pain because it keeps us from damaging ourselves. We find toddlers adorable because otherwise we'd strangle them before they grew up. We usually like to be around other people because we need them to survive. What caused us to have these traits? Evolution by natural selection? Careful and deliberate craftsmanship by a divine creator? For our purposes, it doesn't matter. What matters is we are how we are, and understanding how we are and how it relates to politics might help us accept each other more and reduce cynicism and needless conflict. So, what is human nature? It's a big question, and the answer has a lot of parts. To start, let's focus on a really simple element. Are people good or evil? Well, of course, some people seem really good and others really evil, but most of us are somewhere in between, and if you could ignore for a moment what the media blasts from every corner, you might conclude that the average human being errs in the direction of relatively decent. At the same time, we can be selfish. You know what I mean. You're a person, and you kind of prefer things to go your way. So you compete with other people to get what you want. In this sense, we're like any living organism on the planet. We do what we can to survive and thrive. Thriving, or what's usually described as success. Well, what does success mean in the human world anyway? Is it to make as much money as you can? Rule over as many people as you can? Have the biggest harem? Well, sure, to some extent. But is the typical member of our species really that greedy? And is the average person willing to do anything to get a bigger share of the world's resources? Clearly, some of us can get that way, but your everyday experience should teach you that most people are something more than this selfish streak. Most people would feel very guilty about taking too much if they knew it caused someone else suffering. We take care of our families, we help friends and neighbors, we can even feel bad for people we don't know. It's not just that we're taught to be this way. Even toddlers can feel bad for others, and they haven't had the chance to learn moral ethics. Research shows them to be naturally inclined to help. What we should conclude is that human nature does make us self-serving, but it makes us compassionate and cooperative too. And you know this from everyday experience. You know people are complicated. Though you might feel moved to help a complete stranger from time to time, most of your compassion and cooperation is directed at members of your own group. The closer they are to your inner circle, the more love they get. As it turns out, the warm togetherness of human groups makes us better at competing against other groups. This is a complexity of human nature. We're cooperative and compassionate so that we can be united and therefore in a better position to compete and win what we want. Fish have gills, birds have wings, humans have very effective cooperation. And we're so competitive, we invent games so we can have someone to fight in peacetime. Our nature works for us because the environment may not provide enough resources for everyone. All organisms face this problem, even plants, so living things compete for the things they need. In the human habitat, one way to get what you need is to take it from another group. This is definitely going to happen when resources are scarce. But it's also common when one group simply has more power and takes advantage. That's why a serious threat to well-being, in the past and for many still today, is other human groups, more or less coming to kill you and take your stuff. You already know this is a threat, and if you're wise, you recognize that, if you live in a powerful nation, you are this threat. You may love and cooperate with your family members and community, but your tribe, your nation, organizes to effectively compete with other groups. This can ultimately lead to very bad consequences for the losers of the competition: injuries, starvation, slavery, death. Powerful groups pretty much always take advantage of less powerful ones. Powerful nations conquer weak ones. This is the history of the world. It's the history of all organisms on the planet. Lots of living things, limited resources, competition, suffering, and death. How bad do you feel for the losers in this competition? If the suffering of these others, like people in some faraway nation, is necessary for your own well-being, is that okay with you? Do you even think about it? If you did feel bad about the situation, how much effort would you put into changing it? Would you go out of your way to help someone you've never met when doing so means you'll have less? If you're sitting in a temperature-controlled room right now, watching videos on an electronic device, there's a good chance you live in a developed nation. One way your society pays for these luxuries is by taking advantage of the cheap resources and labor in less developed areas. The people there work more, eat less, suffer more, and you benefit. Feel guilty about it? We're getting to an important moral dilemma here. When is it okay to hurt someone else? To take something from them so that you can have it? Under what conditions would you do this? Nearly everyone would agree it's okay to hurt someone if they are attacking you, or maybe even if they're the kind of person that would attack you. But if we're being honest, nearly everyone would make the difficult choice of harming even an innocent person if it were necessary to save their own child, family member, close friend, etc. The point is, we are ready to be aggressive, ruthless, even cruel, if it's necessary to help someone we love. So again, we see that we human beings are cooperative, compassionate, and potentially incredibly vicious. Now, we vary when it comes to these traits, and there are extremes. Some of us would give the shirt off our backs to help a stranger, or choose to die rather than harm another, and some of us would kill millions in order to live like a king. So there appears to be a difference between people when it comes to how we think about the other. This concept of the other is important, and it includes a wide variety of types of people. But all these others have something in common. They do not belong to your group. The other includes foreigners, but also people from other ethnic groups. It could even include people from your own nation and ethnic group, but who think and live very differently from you. We may see people who live in unconventional ways as the other. Gay people, hippies, juggalos, Hare Krishnas, whatever. It's natural to be somewhat cautious of the other. People seem to have an instinct for it, and this instinct, like all aspects of human nature, is there for a good reason. There are times when an outside group does pose a threat. Its members could show up with plans to harm you, your family, your tribe, and the unconventional ideas and practices of the other could threaten your stable way of life. Why change the way things are done? how you get food, how you raise your family, how you practice your religion. Common sense tells you if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change something that works. Don't mess with tradition. People generally don't like to change how they do things. In other words, people tend to be, in a sense, conservative. But it's a matter of degree. There's a spectrum here, where one side feels more open to outsiders and new ideas, that's the left, and the other approaches foreign people and ideas with more caution, that's the right. Now let's compare the left and right and see how this openness versus caution spectrum can help us understand virtually all the differences we see in politics.